Welcome to Better with Art. I'm Melinda, and I'm here to encourage you to reclaim your creativity and establish a healthy habit of creative self-care with one small art prompt per week that can be done in an art journal or on paper if you don't have one. As you can see, this week we are using our art journals and colored markers. If you've been around a while, you know I often use Sharpies. And when I decided to go back to lines this week after a week of collage, after a week of painted paper, I figured I would break back out the black Sharpie. But after seeing something remembering something I saw on Instagram not too long ago, I decided I'd do this fun project with colorful lines, and there will be a link in the description to the original poster. I'm rather low on colored Sharpies, so I was going to use my Amazon markers that are similar, but I had moved them from my desk and came across these that I'd forgotten. This is a Bic set of fine point markers. So you can probably see I am arranging markers into pairs because we are going to make lines. We're not just going to make lines, we're going to make pairs of lines. And we're going to make them wavy. So some of you may have come to this video today because you came across my shorts for the 100-day project. And I'm thinking it's a good time to explain again what Better with Art is all about. In January of 2022, I decided to participate. Okay, step back. It was February of 2022. I decided to participate in the 100-day project. I was in the midst of another process of reclaiming my creativity and establishing a regular art making practice. I had known it was good for me for years. Making art always had such a positive effect on my mental health, but for years I ignored that fact because there always seemed to be something more important. So with as much as I loved art, I didn't make much for a very long time. And the 100-day project that year came around at just the right time for me to allow it to give myself permission, to allow myself to use it, to give myself permission to make art every day for at least 100 days. And there has been no turning back. I have finally fully stepped into my identity as an artist. So in 2023, on New Year's Day, I launched the 52-week art journal journey, a weekly small art prompt for an art journal, and finished the 52 weeks, but couldn't leave the weekly encouragement behind because I know that there are many people like me, or like I was, who love making art, who need to make art, but aren't making art because there are so many other things. And I'm here to remind you that taking time for art is not a waste of time. And science is backing up more and more all the time how good it is for us. Who doesn't want lower cortisol levels? Who doesn't want a brain making better and faster connections? After our lines, we will take the matching marker and just make dots all along our line. So unlike my collage papers, which I use more types of art products, art materials, Better with Art focuses on small art that, as I said, can be done in an art journal or on paper if you don't have one. And I'll reiterate my oft repeated statement that if you don't have one, at least get a folder, because one of the benefits of an art journal is expressing ourselves and experimenting without fear of what others will think. In the 52-week art journal journey and Better with Art, I also use typically materials that are easy to acquire and relatively inexpensive, because reclaiming your creativity shouldn't have to cost a lot of money. And as you move on in reclaiming your creativity, there's always the opportunity to invest more later as you learn what type of art making really lights you up. I understand that art supplies are not cheap. In my newer 100 collage papers series, I'm going beyond my simple art journaling to share my other art making. Also, to encourage people to take time for their own art making. But I'm also aware that it's not necessarily as accessible. So although I want to expand sharing my art and my techniques, I don't want to leave Better with Art and its simple form of art journaling behind, because, as I said, it exists to encourage people to reclaim their creativity. And I want that to be as easy and inexpensive and unintimidating and accessible as possible. And this is another relaxing project that can encourage the flow state. That state where we just get into a project, a process that lets us just block out all the other noise, even if it's the noise in our own heads. Stop the spinning thoughts and just be in the moment in the process. And one of the great things about quieting those inner voices is sometimes we can hear the quieter voice of confidence, of reason, while we also give our mind the chance to work on something without us stressing about it. Or in a way, we kind of try to tell our brains what to think about something. I don't know a better way to articulate that. Let's see. So, yeah, when we're stressed about something, and you know, those thoughts that just won't stop, we're letting often fear tell our brain how to think. And this type of art can naturally quiet the noise. If you, like me, have struggled with severe depression or less severe depression, you may be familiar with those hopeless thoughts that seem more reasonable than believing things can get better, believing we're worth something, believing that there's still good in this life. And maybe like me, you've struggled with anxiety and the loud, anxious voice that also can blind us from the positive, because we can't see past how overactive our fear response is. And yes, a project like this and getting lost in the repetitive motion can slow down and even stop those overwhelming spinning thoughts. And maybe it won't stop them permanently, but we also give our minds a chance to quiet down and think more clearly. And sometimes solutions or truth, particularly in this sense, the truth that there is good in life and we are worthy. I started to say reining in those negative thoughts, but how this works is we're not fighting them. We're just giving our minds a nicer alternative. We're distracting ourselves in a way. When we give our minds an opportunity to stop spinning, we can hear that truth again. We can find some type of clarity. So however you found your way to my channel today, I hope you take the time to practice some creative self-care with art making, because we are wired for creativity. We're not as healthy as we could be if we're not taking regular time to create in ways that we enjoy and are meaningful to us. I have been so much healthier since that February. I decided to embrace the reality that creativity was not just an indulgence, not just a waste of time. It is a very good antidepressant and anti-anxiety. And if you're struggling to rationalize making time, taking time to make art, let me encourage you to also accept the reality, the truth, that it's a healthy, good choice for your health. We are not one-dimensional. And when it comes to treating mental disorders and just the stress of everyday life, we need to consider our health from a physical and emotional and mental and spiritual and social aspect. But another aspect I think should also be included, because those are common dimensions we think of when we think of our humanity. But I think creativity may not get as much attention as it deserves as part of our health. And I realize that physical art making isn't for everyone, but for those of us for whom it works, we need to be making art. As I've already said, creativity is a part of our identities. Well, how I said it was we're wired for creativity. We are made in the image of the Creator. So take some time to make some art. I encourage you to try out these fun, colorful line pairs with their sort of beady dots. If you are feeling inspired to create, I would appreciate a thumbs up, and I love kind comments. If you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe. As mentioned, I am still participating in, well, I didn't really say it was the 100-day project for this year. I did mention my collage papers. I am creating 100 collage papers. So my 100-day project for this year is my 100 collage papers. So I have my Sunday Better with Art prompt videos, a daily short with a different collage paper each day. Although night before last, I showed you a collage I was working on instead. And a Wednesday wrap-up video with all 7 of the week's favors. And we are getting closer and closer to the end of the 100 days. I am so glad you found this video today and have taken the time to watch to the end. I so appreciate the opportunity to encourage you to take time for creative self-care. If you'd like to extend the therapeutic aspect of our art, you can sign up for a weekly email that will include a writing prompt in the description, and you will also receive a link to join the private Better with Art Facebook group We are still quite small, but growing and only encouraging. There will be a link in the description for this art journal that I use in each of the videos. Okay, not this particular one, but this brand of journal, because I've gone through quite a few of them over the last year and a half, almost year and a half. Wow. May has flown by. There will also be a link to this particular set of markers, as well as my typical Amazon and Sharpies. But the most important thing to take away from this video is take time for art. It's not a waste of time. And if you know someone else who needs that reminder, feel free to share. And as mentioned, there's the private Facebook group. I would love to see what you're creating. But again, your art journal is as private as you want it to be. I share mine to encourage you. And it's not always my best art, and that's okay. It's my art journal. It's not meant to be perfect. It's meant to be enjoyed. It's the process, not the product. So don't stress about it. Just get out some markers, colored pencils, whatever makes you happy, and make some line pairs. I mean, you could even do the black Sharpie if you wanted. Well, 2 black Sharpies if you wanted. Ooh, or a black Sharpie and a silver Sharpie. That sounds fun. Whatever you decide to use, enjoy. And I will be back next week with another prompt on Wednesday with another week of collage papers, and every evening with each of those collage papers until 100 days. And then we'll start some more fun Wednesday videos. If you have ideas of things you would like to see in those videos, feel free to comment. I have some fun ideas, but I'm always open to more. And yeah. They got away from me. Okay, we'll just connect those. It was going so well. But like I said, it's my art journal. It's okay. We'll work with it. Look at that. I already have 1 dot made. All right. I'm going to finish up my dots and get this video ready for you. Make art, friend.